This is Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with another live stream show. That's right, it's Sunday night and it's time for our live stream show. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I appreciate you hanging out with us on this Sunday night. It is June 7th. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us tonight on our live stream show. We are getting ready to get started here at Hubbard's Marina for this live stream fishing show. We're going to be started in just a few moments. I'm running a little bit behind this beautiful Sunday night. Do need a few minutes to get started. If you're watching live, just bear with us a few moments. We'll be starting shortly. If you're not watching live, if it's not Sunday night, June 7th at 8:31 p.m., you can skip forward to where you see the video start. If you are watching live, bear with us just one moment. We'll get started very shortly. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us on this Sunday night. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you give a thumbs up to the video. Go ahead and thumbs up the video on YouTube for us. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. If you're watching on Facebook, don't forget to like this video for us and make sure you like our Facebook page as well. We are going to get started here shortly on this live stream show. We're going to give away some free fishing trips. We're also going to be talking all about nearshore and offshore fishing tips, tricks, and more, and answering your questions live. In order to get your questions answered live during the show, you do have to text message them to that phone number in the upper right hand corner of the screen. So text us if you have any questions you want answered, and make sure you comment at least one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream in order to be eligible to win. That's right, we're giving away a free 5-hour half day for 2, a free 10-hour all day for 2, and most likely a free 39-hour trip for one person if we get up to 400 live viewers. Right now we're sitting at about 300 live viewers already, so we're only about 100 people away from giving away one of those free 39-hour fishing trips. Make sure you share this video with your friends, text your buddies, tell them to tune in, so that way we get to those free 39-hour fishing trips. And we are just about ready to get started. Just a few minutes away here. Got to get your Jameson drinks ready. Dogs barking in the background, trying to wake up the baby. That's always good. Always a good way to start off the show, and the dog's trying to wake up the baby. Oh, man. It has been quite the day for me. We've been rained on non-stop, essentially, the last couple days, canceling a ton of trips after being closed way too long. And then, on top of that, we're dealing with a lot of sand issues and other stupid stuff. And just been a busy day. A little chaotic for me. Time got away from me. Went to grill some awesome food for dinner tonight, and grill was having problems. My fence fell down. It's been a day. But I'm ready for the show, and appreciate you guys bearing with us. Let's see. Alright, hopefully I remember everything tonight. I'm just kidding. Of course I'll remember everything tonight. You guys are here to help me out. Remind me. You guys keep me honest, that's for sure. That's why we love you. Alright, I think I'm ready to get started, despite my late start. Hopefully I don't have anything in my teeth. I was slamming some dinner before the show started. Oh, we're already getting stars. Appreciate everybody shooting us some stars on Facebook. Thank you, Demetrius Toller and Joseph Caratazzolo. And Joseph Cartazzolo, again, I appreciate all the stars. For those of you new to the show, well, then again, even if you've watched the show, stars are a new thing Facebook launched. It's basically a way for you to send support, I guess. Still kind of learning myself. This is all new to me, but definitely a cool thing that Facebook launched. Thank you, Barbara Austin, for sending us those stars. It's for those of you watching on Facebook. That's how you can send stars. It's right down by where you comment. There's a little star option, and you can choose to send us stars that way. So pretty cool. Thank you, Sherry Bradbury Griffiths. Appreciate it. And Dana Phillips said, I'm a star. Aw, so kind, you guys. Thanks for putting a smile on my face tonight. I needed it. Wow, we are already up to 72 plus 348, so we're already over 400 live viewers, and we just started. My name's Captain Dylan Hubbard from Hubbard's Marina. Hubbard's Marina has been fishing local waters for nearly 100 years and 4 family generations, and this is our Sunday night live stream show. We do this show every Sunday night right here on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook and YouTube channel. Hopefully you enjoy the show. Hopefully you guys enjoy talking nearshore and offshore fishing tips, tricks, and more with us here on our Hubbard's Marina Facebook live video and YouTube live. So we are going to get right into this, show you some photos on what we've been catching. So let's get right into it and see what has been caught inshore lately. Thanks Juan Rios, Janet Malden, and Pat McGrath for this live show stars. I really appreciate it. Thanks again, Pat. There is a big old black drum. That is a black drum. These black drum are biting well inshore right now. We see a lot of black drum around the beaches or around the bridges. I can't zoom out for some reason. Not let me zoom out. But these black drum, they love bridges around Johns Pass Bridge, around our docks at Hubbard's Marina. This one was caught in one of the Tampa Bay bridges. These guys love cut crabs. Also, big live shrimp on the bottom. They're bottom feeders, so the the black drum are definitely feeding well. Thanks, Kevin Wildheart, for the stars on Facebook. Big black drum. Some nice photos of some big black drum. Our friends over at Salt Strong. This is Luke Simons crushing some big red fish on those Alabama Leprechaun soft plastics. This is our little man Lucas, or big man Lucas. He has grown up fishing on our docks. Him and his little brother were fishing together, catching a lot of snook. The snook bite has been stellar throughout the whole area. We're also seeing triple tail along the beaches and in Tampa Bay. A lot of triple tail for sure. Thanks David Pruitt and Gabriel Gimbasan for sending some stars. I appreciate it, guys. Another triple tail, lots of triple tail action. Another one of our buddies from Salt Strong. This is Joe Simons, another one of those Alabama Leprechaun soft plastics. They've been crushing the fish on the soft plastics for sure. A lot of trout action on the edges of the grass flats, the deeper holes. Snook at night inside Johns Pass. Definitely doing real well. Redfish upper to mid Tampa Bay around the mangrove shorelines and grass beds. These big black drum right around the bridges. Definitely doing best on those black drum. They love structure. Black drum, they love structure for sure. All right, so that is about it inshore. Thanks Richard Blazak for the stars. Appreciate it. Inshore as well, I had someone talking to me before the show. They wanted to talk a little bit about beach snook fishing. So right now, this time of year, those snook are staging up in the passes for their spawn. And those snooks stage in the pass. And then all of a sudden, as the water warms up, those snooks swim out of the pass They hang out on the beaches during the day, just like you and I, and then they swim near shore along those artificial reefs, wrecks, and they spawn in big, huge concentrations. So during the day, the beaches, great place to look for big breeder snook. At night, especially early morning hours right before sunrise, great place to look for them is in the passes. We're also seeing a bunch of schoolie size snook all the way through the Back Bay waters. Tons of snook around right now, cooperating well. Thanks Ben Schrock for sending some stars. And on the beaches, those snook are cruising in those swash channels. So a swash channel is that little gully in between sandbars. So you're walking out into the surf on the beach and you kind of trip over your own feet. Those are the swash channels. That's what you're looking for. That's basically the snook highway. They run parallel to the beach in between those sandbars. And that's where those snook cruise up and down the beaches looking for shrimp and mud minnows and crabs, just about anything those snook will eat right now. They're super hungry as they stage up for those spawns for sure. Thank you, Michelle McNamara, for the stars. I am terrible at pronouncing names, and I apologize. I'm probably butchering everybody's name. But that's probably pretty entertaining as well for you guys to see how badly I mispronounce your names. I apologize. But let's get into the offshore photos, show you what we've been catching offshore. We had the start of red snapper season June 1st. Red snapper season opened June 1st, and it runs all the way till end of day August 1st. So red snapper season kicked off with a bang. Lots of nice red snapper. We got some grouper, we got some mangrove snapper, we got some yellowtail snapper. And you're going to see some of those fish from our first 39-hour fishing trip that left the dock June 2nd. Fished right ahead of this big blow. We also got another 39-hour trip coming up this coming Tuesday, right behind this big blow, June 9th. So we're looking forward to that, because offshore behind this hurricane, the fishing should be stellar. Near shore behind this hurricane on our 5 and 10-hour trips, would be a little bit slow tomorrow. As the water calms down and clears up, the fishing is going to turn on and get really hot. Offshore and deeper water, that water clears up a lot faster because it doesn't get as stirred up when you go into deeper water. So 39-hour fishing, it'll bounce back as soon as that water calms down. Near shore, the water has to calm down and clear up, because in shallow waters, it definitely gets stirred up a little bit more. Thanks, Ricky Richardson, Karen Perkins, and Sarah Movahadi for the stars. I appreciate it, guys. And Christy Jacobs. Thank you, guys. So let's get into these 39-hour photos, show you guys a little bit of those red snapper and gag groupers. The gag grouper season also opened up June 1st. Getting some big mangrove snapper still, plentiful mangroves, still a few kingfish around out there in the deep water trips. Offshore, we're seeing a lot of kingfish still. Near shore, definitely kingfish bite has slowed down a little bit. Red snapper, though, are biting well. We've got a boat limit of red snapper on this 39-hour trip. We also got a boat limit of red snapper on our first couple Flying Hub 2 trips. The red snapper bite is hot. There's a red snapper on a vertical jig. Another nice red snapper from Mr. Knit. Big mangrove right there. That's a beautiful mangrove. Nice red snappers. Red snappers, we're excited to throw these guys in the box for sure. They've been deserving it, those red snapper. There's a big old mangrove snapper. The mangrove snapper. Dang, thanks Chris Valerie for 1,200 stars. I really appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. There's a big old mangrove snapper, and this is Jim Kendall. I want to point this out here real quick. This yellow string sticking out of this red grouper, that is a t-shirt. That's a free t-shirt. So the FWC, what they do is this tagging program. So that is one of those FWC tags. So important when you catch a fish with one of those yellow strings hanging out of the top of the fish that you write down the tag number and write down approximately where you caught it, how deep, and a little bit of specific information about that fish, because FWC has these little postcards. On our boats we have the postcards. If you're fishing on your own boat or your buddy's boat, just make sure you write down as much information as you can about the catch, where you caught it, what depth, all that good information, because the FWC has those postcards, and if you don't have them on your boat, you can order them. You can call FWRI in downtown St. Pete and get the information. But really important when you catch a tagged fish, if you're going to kill it, no worries. You throw it in the box. When you get back to the dock, you can handle it. If you're not going to kill it, if it's undersized, if it's out of season, write down the tag information. There's some tagged red snapper in the Gulf of Mexico that are worth $250. And then all the FWC tags are worth a free t-shirt. So all you do is send in the information. They send you a free t-shirt in the mail, and it's super helpful to the fishery scientists and the fishery managers because it allows them to get that growth rate study. Oh, you have to measure it. Make sure you measure it too. So record how deep, approximately where, and measure it very specifically, or as specifically as you can. Because what they're doing is they're getting how fast that fish grew and where that fish was caught. Allows them to study how far it traveled. And then also, if you kill the fish, you can let them know, and they'll come do the stomach contents as well. So those tagged fish are super important for growth rate and for fecundity studies. So fecundity is the study of how those fish spawn and their relationships to where they spawn and where they come back to. And it helps a lot of science. So super important. If you ever catch one of these fish with that yellow string hanging out of it, that you fill out that little FWC postcard and send it in. Please send it in. Some nice red snapper. We got Jason Porton, our first mate, Tammy Kuda, our galley cook extraordinaire, Jim Kendall with a nice big old red snapper. And look at this. This right here is the best fish I'm going to show you tonight. That is one of my favorites. That is a scamp grouper, and that is a monster scamp grouper. That is 14.9 pounds. That is a beast of a scamp grouper. I mean, just gorgeous trophy fish. I would trade 4 red snapper to take that fish home. Scamp grouper are just so good eating. Such a great catch too. Such a monster fish. And they're beautiful. Look at that tail on them. Man, I think that was the last photo. I can't get it to advanced anymore. So we ended up on the prize fish for sure. What a beautiful scamp grouper. It was overall great 39-hour fishing trip. Unfortunately, we had to cancel our weekend 39-hour trip weekend 44-hour trip due to weather. We had to cancel the 39-hour trip that was supposed to leave today because of weather, unfortunately. So not too many new photos to show you. These are all from the Tuesday 39-hour trip that returned to the dock Thursday morning. But overall, really nice catch, and we're excited to do it again this Tuesday, June 9th. And with that, we do want to make sure everybody is aware we had a change to our policies. So if you go to our website, if you go to hubbardsmarina.com, we have this big old green banner right across the top of the website. You can click that big old beautiful green banner, and it's going to take you to our COVID-19 operating policies and procedures. And the big change is this phase 2 capacity. So now we're able to carry groups of 50 or less. So as long as we're in groups of 50 or less, we are good to go. So that means 39-hour trips are back to 15 people, 12-hour extremes are back to 16, 44-hour trips are back to 50. So we got a lot of capability to take more people out fishing, because we were scared we were going to have to limit capacity all the way through red snapper season. And luckily, with the announcement of phase 2, the governor said, hey, if you're outside, you don't have to socially distance. So if you're on a pool, if you're at a pool, if you're at a playground, the beaches, now you don't have to socially distance. And if you're on a tour boat or fishing charter boat, you don't have to socially distance. As long as you're outside in the open air, in the sunlight, social distancing is no more on those pools, playgrounds, beaches, tour boats, charter boats. So we're excited that we're able to carry 50 passengers again. We've got one spot open this Tuesday, June 9th. We've got 6 spots open this Tuesday, or this Sunday, June 14th. We've got 10 spots open this coming up Tuesday, June 16th. We've got 11 spots open this Tuesday, June 23rd. We got 3 spots open Friday, June 19th. All this to say, we've got a ton of spots open on our 39-hour trips left in June. The Flying Hub 2 12-hour extreme trips look pretty full, but we've got some spots in July. So Flying Hub 2 12-hour extreme spots definitely filled up fast, but those 39-hour fishing trips still have tons of room on them. So increased capacity means more opportunities for you guys to go fishing for sure. So get on those added trips because they are going to fill up fast for sure. So definitely hop on there. Thanks Debbie Hauer for sending some stars. Thanks Melina Cup for sending 200 stars. Appreciate it. Let's see what other questions. Oh, the new online store. We've added even more to our online store. So while you're on our website, you can click store, click Marina store, and you're going to see tons of new products added to our online store. We got our Hubbard's Marina hats, rods, t-shirts, we got reels, we've got the salinity gear, we've got the saltwater hippie gear, we got a ton of really cool stuff in a variety of colors right on our website on the Hubbard's Marina online store. So definitely check that out. Red snapper season is open. We talked about that. The next thing I wanted to mention here real quick before we get into the questions was the weather. You can always go onto our website, hubbardsmarina.com, click fishing trips, scroll down to the weather links page. The weather links page is going to take you to our collection of weather information. The best, most favoriteest weather page is right on the bottom. This is Mike's weather page, or spaghettimodels.com. This guy is like my hero, and he's right here in Tampa Bay area. He has a killer website with all the weather information in one, and when there's a tropical storm or hurricane around, this is the page to watch for sure. He has his own Facebook page, and he does live shows that put mine to shame. Granted, they're all focused on tropical systems and such, but it is really good. I watch them all the time myself, and since they released this whole stars thing, I've been sending them a lot of stars. But long story short, that storm is out of the Gulf of Mexico. You can see, I think this is probably, the 5 p.m. update, 7 p.m. CDT. So this is a 5 p.m. Eastern time update. That storm has made landfall. Cristobal is over land and out of the Gulf of Mexico, which is great news for us here in Central West Florida. That storm is going to cruise right up the middle of the country and get up into Canada. And luckily, all this weather is going to clear out of the way very quickly, and we have a high pressure settling in here later this week. So we're looking forward to some good weather ahead finally on the backside of Cristobal. We're going to pull back up here our weather links page. So right back to our weather links page at the top, you can see the wind finder forecast. These are one of my favorite as well, as far as marine weather is concerned, because it gives you a real good visual representation of what the wind's doing. So you can see here after tomorrow's not so hot. After tomorrow, that wind dies off and we don't have any strong winds from Tuesday, June 9th all the way to Tuesday, June 16th. Granted, this is the Egmont Key Channel entrance, so this is just about 16 miles southwest of Johns Pass, about 10 to 12 miles offshore, so it's not very far offshore. But even if you check the St. Pete offshore buoy, which is way out there, you see the same thing. After that weather calms down, just gorgeous conditions from here on out. So way offshore and deep water. Tuesday's still a little bumpy, but not bad. Wednesday's gorgeous, and we have picture perfect weather here on out. So keeping our fingers crossed, saying some prayers that hopefully that stays true. Essentially, near shore, weather's going to calm down tomorrow, going to be fishable Tuesday. Offshore, it's going to calm down tomorrow and Tuesday. Going to be really nice starting Wednesday offshore. And we're looking forward to it. And because hopefully the weather's going to stay good from there on out. Because we've had enough of viruses and bad weather and all the other chaos in the world. We're ready to get back to fishing and escape all this and get offshore and have some fun. So looking forward to that for sure. Now on to the questions. Time to answer your questions. Remember, you can text that phone number in the upper right hand corner, 727-393-1947, and you can send us your questions if you want them answered live during the show. We're going to get to your questions here now, but first, it's time to give away some free fishing trips. So let's see who won a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Lucky winner is Karen Smedbron from Wisconsin. Karen, if you are one of those lucky winner, or if you are that lucky winner, Karen Smedbron, you can text us at the upper right hand corner at that phone number your home address so you can claim that free fishing trip. If you are picked as one of those lucky winners like Miss Karen is, that's how you claim that free trip, is by texting us at that number in the upper right hand corner your home address, and that's how you claim your free trip and prove that you were watching the show live, because you do have to watch the show live in order to be eligible to win. All right, so let's get to these questions and see where we're at. First question is, I know you're limited on the number of people on the boat, correct? We are still limited on the number of people on the trips, but now we're up to 50 people. So for our 12-hour extreme, 39-hour, 44 hours, Shell Key Ferry, Egmont Key Ferry, we're back to normal capacities. On trips like 10-hour trips that normally take 60, on a half-day trip where we normally take 65, we're not up to normal capacity on those trips, but we're back up to normal capacity on some of our trips. The overnight trip cost. Well, we've got a 12-hour night snapper trip. We've got a 39-hour fishing trip. We've got a 44-hour trip. So there's a couple different overnight trips here at Hubbard's Marina. The best way to find out all the party boat fishing options is going onto our website, clicking fishing trips and clicking fishing trip information. Now, if you weren't logged into our booking system like I am, you would see a calendar of all the different trips that we offer on different days, and you could book those fishing trips, just point and click from this page. But because I'm logged into the booking system, it's not going to show you all that good stuff. Now, on the bottom of that page, it's going to show you all the different fishing charter or party boat fishing trips that we offer and the prices. So you got the 12-hour night snapper for $149. You've got the 39-hour trip for $399, and the 44-hour trip for $4.99. So there's all the different party boat fishing trips and the prices, and right at the top of the page is the calendar that lists all the different trips. So real cool page. Again, that's under fishing trips, fishing trip information. That's how you get to that page, and that is where you're going to find all the information you're looking for as far as what trips and how much they cost and when do they go and stuff. Could you explain the benefits of a 39 to 44 hour trips in terms of fish limits and what circumstances allow you that 2-day bag limit? So the great benefit of one of these 39-hour fishing trips or 44-hour fishing trips is that 2-day bag limit. So for example, our 12-hour extreme trip aboard the Flying Hub 2 and long-range private fishing charters aboard the Flying Hub 2 allow you to get out there really fast, really far, and fish really deep water for big fish like we catch on our 39-hour trips. But it's a single day trip, so you're only allowed a single day bag limit. However, on a 39-hour fishing trip or 44-hour fishing trip, because we're out there for more than 30 hours, because we have 2 paid USCG master captains on board, because we're federally permitted for hire charter boat or party boat, because we have sleeping quarters, and because we have receipts on board proving the length of the trip, we're able to have that 2-day bag limit. So in order to keep that 2-day bag limit, or twice your daily limit, you have to be on a trip greater than 30 hours. You have to have 2 paid captains with USCG certification, you have to have sleeping quarters, and you have to have receipts on board. Every party has to have a receipt on board proving the length of the trip, and they must be able to produce those receipts if boarded. So real important that you match those criterias, and you have to be a federally permitted for hire charter boat or party boat operating in the Gulf of Mexico. So those are the criterias that we meet that allow us to keep that 2-day bag limit. And they actually tried to threaten that 2-day bag limit recently at one of those federal fishery meetings because I was pushing against all the illegal charter information that we have in the Gulf of Mexico. Some illegal charters really trying to take advantage of our fishing seasons and quotas. So I was pushing hard against illegal charters, and they turned around and said, well, your 39-hour trips are illegal because you're keeping these fish in the incorrect manner. Well, luckily, it took 2 federal fishery meetings to introduce new legislation and get it fixed. With that, though, that's when they increased it. It used to be trips greater than 24 hours allowed a 2-day bag limit. Well, they increased it to 30 hours. But our shortest trip was 39 hours anyway, so not really a big change for us here at Hubbard's Marina. But that's why that change just occurred. It went to 30 hours because we were fighting for our rights for our 2-day bag limits, and we got them. We won. With the summer heat approaching, do you have any tips or tricks to stay cool on the water? Perhaps a good opportunity to discuss the value of those fancy fishing shirts. So yes, one of the biggest tips or tricks that I have when offshore fishing or outside in general in the hot Florida summer is definitely one of those SPF long sleeve shirts. Thanks, Patrick Hong, for the stars. Appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate the support. But what I was saying is those SPF shirts, so those long sleeve shirts like we have on our store. I'll pull it up so you guys know what I'm talking about here. So real important, especially in the summertime, to make sure that you're watching your body heat, making sure that you're not getting over hot. So this is one of those SPF shirts, the Salinity Gear. We have Red Rum. We have a bunch of different brands. But that SPF shirt, it's going to be long sleeve, going to allow you it's going to keep you cooler. Going to wick moisture off you. It's definitely a great way to stay cooler in the summertime. Those fancy fishing shirts help out a lot for sure. I love the Salt Strong shirts. I wish, I think they still, let me see. We'll Google it together. We'll see if they still have it, because the Salt Strong fishing shirts were my favorite, and we don't sell them on our site. I don't make any money off them, but I love them that much. So go into those saltstrong.com, click gear. I know they stopped selling them. Oh, they still sell a few of them. So they have the hooded ones. The hooded ones are really cool. We do have a few hooded t-shirt or a few hooded SPF shirts, but we don't have them on our online store yet. So we'll get there soon. But Salt Strong has these hooded t-shirts, and they work with AFCO now, so they definitely some good quality shirts. But hooded shirts help a lot. You would think putting a hood up in the sun isn't gonna help you stay cool, but it really does. Every time I go on one of those 39-hour trips in the summertime, I wear one of those Salt Strong hooded shirts because it really keeps you cool, protects you from the sun. Drinking water, paying attention to where you're at. I know on the Flying Hub 2, for example, we don't have air conditioning. It's a go fast boat, so a lot of times, every time that boat's moving, every time the fishing's a little bit slow, or even when I'm waiting for a bite, a lot of times I'll kind of step back a little bit into the shade. On the 39-hour fishing trip, I always try to cruise into the cabin occasionally and get some water and sit in the AC, or at least hang out in the shade. Very important in the hot summertime that you wear proper clothing, that you stay hydrated. Gatorade's a good friend. Pickles is one of the secrets. Will McClure, he loves the Vienna sausages. He swears by them, helps him deal with the heat. But pickles, not bananas. Can't bring bananas on the boat. Pickles and Gatorade, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you stay hydrated and stay healthy out there for sure. But good question. And thanks, Jennifer Roberts, for sending some stars. Mohammed Tour, I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate the support. Let's see. What's the next question? What is baby octopus a good bait for? We do carry baby octopus in our shop in the bait freezer, and baby octopus is a great bait for those red snapper. Red snapper love baby octopus. We catch a lot of big mangroves on those baby octopus. Red grouper love them, even gag grouper. This time of year, late spring, early summer, we have a lot of octopus out there spawning, and they work really well on those long range overnight trips, on the 12-hour extreme trips. If we're fishing out there in deep water, those baby octopus that we have in our frozen bait freezer works really well. Let's see. What's your favorite blackening season for fish? It's hard to say. There's so many different blackening seasonings. I would say probably the maker of Old Bay. They have a blackening season. I think it's Old Bay blackening season. But one of my favorite seasonings ever was the Everglades seasoning. Actually, one of our fishing friends, Justin Perlow, turned me on to the Everglades seasoning, and I've been addicted to it ever since. I put it on everything from fish to steak to chicken. And Everglades seasoning, that company makes a blackened seasoning that I like a lot too. But there is one really popular one that seems to be escaping me right now. But Old Bay is that's a fan favorite. That goes way back with my family because Old Bay has been around forever. That's what my grandfather used to use on fish. So Old Bay blackened seasoning is one of my favorite. That's what we serve in our restaurant. And that's what I've always enjoyed is the Old Bay blackening season, at least me personally. So let's see what other questions. How much Top Shot is appropriate for a 10-hour trip? So great question. Actually been talking to a lot of people about Top Shot recently. So when you're fishing on our trips, you can bring braided line. Braided line is not necessarily the best when you're party boat fishing or when you're on a busy trip. But if you're using a Top Shot and you're an experienced angler, now if you're not an experienced angler, if it's your first time, if you're new to offshore fishing, stick to mono. But if you're an advanced angler, you've got braided line on your reel, you don't have to strip all that braid off to come out fishing with us as long as you use a Top Shot. Now, a Top Shot is basically a leader before your leader. You're adding monofilament on top of your braid, then you're putting your swivel, then you're putting your swivel, or then you're putting your weight, then you're putting your swivel, and then your leader and hook. So a top shot is a leader before the leader, and generally a good rule of thumb is your top shot should be 1/3 to 2/3 of your line in the water. So on a 10-hour trip where we fish 60 to 100 foot of water, 1/3 would be about 30 feet, 2/3 about 60 feet. So if you're an experienced angler, more like 20 to 30 feet of top shot. If you're a little bit less experienced, maybe 30, 40 feet of top shot. Because you want a top shot on top of that braided line. You never want to fish straight braid to your swivel. You're going to lose fish. Fish are going to see your main line. You're not going to have that shock absorption. You're going to have fish spit your hook. Once you get them hooked, you get them up off the bottom, you think you caught them, they're going to spit your hook on the way to the surface because that braided line doesn't have any stretch. So you want to always add a monofilament top shot. The deeper you go, the more sensitivity you need. You shorten up that top shot. And the more experienced you are, the shorter the top shot you need, because you're able to make sure that you're tending your line and actively fishing. The more experienced anglers are able to constantly move with the boat and constantly keep that line tight enough to where literally I know when someone else's line is touching my line, and when I feel that, I start my reel on high speed and I start cranking as fast and hard as I can, because I want to get my line out away from that other person's line. I control the end of my rod tip, making sure that I know where my line is angled so no one else's line is going to be angled into mine. And if someone accidentally casts over me or to the side of me, or I cast over someone, I quickly reel it up and get it out of their way, because you never want to get tangled offshore. And if you're a good experienced angler, you won't get tangled offshore very often or at all. So it's really important to make sure you're constantly monitoring your line. You're patient, you're flexible, you're working with those around you, and it's a good, happy experience for everyone. Now, if you bring braided line out there, you don't use a top shot, you're tangling everybody else around you, it's going to be an issue. That's when we'll come up and say, hey, you got to use this rod with no braid on it now. So yes, you can fish braid as long as you use a top shot and it's not an issue. As far as how long of the top shot, about 1/3 to 2/3 of your line in the water. For the short answer. How's fishing been during this rain? I wish I knew. It's been a little rough out there. We've had a tropical storm sitting in the Gulf. Cristobal ruined a lot of plans for a lot of people, including a lot of us here at Hubbard's Marina, unfortunately. So we haven't really been fishing too much the last couple days because of this wind and waves. Rain doesn't scare us so much, but wind and waves definitely stop us from fishing, unfortunately. But we're going to get back to it on Tuesday. Tomorrow I had to cancel our even our 5-hour half days because it's a little too bumpy tomorrow. But Tuesday we'll be back at it. Should be really good fishing offshore for the 39-hour. I think the 10-hour is going to struggle a little bit to start Tuesday, but the bite should get hotter as the day goes on. Tuesday, I think the half days are going to struggle a little bit. Wednesday, I think the fishing's going to pick up for us on the half days, and the rest of the week and into the weekend should be really good. That's my educated guess. Looking forward to being on the 12-hour extreme fishing trip June 26th. That boat looks awesome. You're right, man. That boat is sick. The Flying Hub 2 is a bad to the bone fishing vessel. And we look forward to hopefully making it run even better and faster. These new motors we got hanging off of it, the Yamaha 425s from our friends at Central Marine, they have been operating so well. So Yamaha, big shout out to those guys and the good people at Central Marine. Carl Niger and his friends definitely hooked us up on some awesome engines. Those 425s are sick. Extra horsepower. The boat is running really, really well, really fast. Captain Joe, Captain Rich have been working really hard on getting that boat dialed in with those new engines, and they've been purring. So knock on wood, say a little prayer. Don't bring any bananas, and hopefully we'll keep continuing to see killer performance from the Flying Hub 2 and its brand new Yamaha 425s. They were pricey. They were just shy of $100,000 to get all all rigged up and hung on the back of the boat, but it's been worth it so far. Only a handful of trips under the belt, so we look forward to breaking them in this red snapper season. But right now they're bad to the bone, and Yamaha. We got the Flying Hub 2. We had Yamaha 300s, then we went to Yamaha 350s, then we tried Mercury 350s. We went to Suzuki. We tried Honda 350s, I think, and Suzuki 350s. Long story short, the Yamahas were always the best, and we're happy to be back with Yamaha and happy to be back with Central Marine Service. They were always hands down the best service. Right there with Pro Marine and the Mercury engines we had, but we're happy to be back with Yamaha. We're happy with those motors. Those big Yamaha blocks work well for us. Mercury has great high-end performance for smaller, lighter boats, but the Flying Hub 2 is a big, heavy boat, and that's why those Yamahas work so well. They're bulletproof. They're big blocks. They give a lot of weight on the back because it's a hydrofoil-assisted cat. It literally flies on the wings, so Yamaha works well for us for that reason. But we're excited, definitely excited to see how that boat does through this season, and we're confident it's going to do a lot better. Let's see. It is time to give away a free 10-hour all day for 2 people. We give away a 5-hour half day. We gave away a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Now we're going to give away a 10-hour all day for 2 guests. So 10-hour all day for 2 guests. Remember, if you're picked as that lucky winner, you do have to text us. Oh, look at that. Jose Ramos picked my wife and I for an anniversary gift. Happy anniversary, Jose Ramos, and your bride. You just won a anniversary present from us here at Hubbard's Marina. Thanks for watching, guys, spending your anniversary with us. That's quite an honor. Hopefully it's not really your anniversary because you're sleeping on the couch. But hopefully it's close to your anniversary, and you guys enjoy those free 10-hour all-day trips for 2 people. So you and your wife get to go fishing after red snapper season on a 10-hour trip for free. Let's see here. Best bait to bring on a 39-hour fishing trip for big fish. So on a 39-hour fishing trip, on any trip, 10 hours or longer, we provide your thread fins and squid. Thread fins and squid are included in your ticket price. Now, as far as additional live bait, you can bring live pinfish. You can buy live pinfish from us. You can bring live shrimp. You can buy live shrimp from us. You can purchase frozen bonita in our bait freezer in the office. You can purchase cigar minnows, sardines, baby octopus. There's a ton of different baits in our bait freezer in our office. But I would say one of my favorite additional baits on a 39-hour fishing trip would probably be bonita this time of year. Those red snapper love bonita strips. Big, smelly, oily strip of bait, dropping it down there. Squid strips work well. Thread fin plugs work really well. Most of the trip on a 39-hour fishing trip, I'm fishing with those thread fin plugs for mangrove snapper, and then you always catch a few red snapper too. But as far as what big baits to bring, bonita strips, big live baits, all work well. Do the 39-hour and 12-hour night trips run year-round? Our 39-hour trips and 44-hour trips, our 5-hour trips, our 10-hour trips all run year-round. Our 12-hour night trips are not year-round. Those run from about March to around, I'm guessing around October. I think it's October. I apologize. I'm talking off the top of my head here. But on our website, if you go to hubbardsmarina.com, on our homepage, you can go to fishing trips and scroll down to specialty trip schedule. On the specialty trip schedule page, you're going to have this nice Excel spreadsheet that we keep up to date, and it's going to show you all the dates of all our trips. So I was right. Look at that. 12-hour night trips start in March. They end in October. And there's all the dates for all of 2020 as far as specialty trips are concerned. Right on the website, specialty trip schedule, right under fishing trips is where you find that. But the 39-hour trips, the 5-hour trips, the 10-hour trips, 12-hour extreme trips, they run all year round. Let's see here. What's the next question? What reel? I don't understand that question. I think they're asking, what reel do you recommend, perhaps for a 39-hour or 44-hour trip? So my favorite reel and favorite rod and reel combo is right on the website. It's in a bundle on our new online store. If you go to store, Marina store, this is what I personally use when I'm on those 39-hour fishing trips. That Daiwa Saltiga LD50 2-speed. This reel is bad to the bone. It's got 40 pounds of drag to it. It's one all solid metal frame. It's got an independent spool. It's got 2 speeds, so it's got 6.3 to 1 and then 3.1 to 1. So a 2-speed gear ratio, really bad to the bone, super strong reel. It is super smooth and like butter, and it's super strong when you hook up one of those fish. And the best option to pair with it is one of those custom Hubbard's Marina Bull Bay rods. So we got these custom built for us here at Hubbard's Marina. These are really, really nice fishing rods. I always jokingly say you can feel a pinfish fart in 200 foot of water. That's how sensitive they are. It's crazy how sensitive these rods are. We got a little crisscross grip on them to make sure you can hold that rod when you're catching tons of snapper. It's got a coated aluminum reel seat that doesn't corrode. It's got an extra long butt to it for more power and more leverage when you're cranking on that big fish. It's got an extra long foregrip to it for the same reason. It's got an upside down first guide for smoother casting and line retrieval, and it's got a super ultra light feel, but plenty of strength to it. So you not only have the great backbone, but you have a super light tip in order to feel pretty much any action on the rod. So highly recommend our custom Hubbard's Marina Bull Bay rods. Bull Bay is owned, father and son, veteran owned over in Lakeland. So they're local. It's a family business, veteran owned, and they make some really, really cool products. And we have a full line of custom conventional and custom spinning rods inside our Hubbard's Marina office. That Bull Bay rods built for us on our specifications, specifically for our needs at Hubbard's Marina when nearshore and offshore fishing. So come by the office, check them out in person, go on our online store, check them out. Highly recommend them. They work well. Let's see, next question. All right, don't understand this one either. Next question. I got a reminder email for my 39-hour trip this Friday. Is it an automated email reminder, or is my reservation confirmed with capacity limits for COVID-19? Well, again, on our 39-hour trips, we're back to full capacity, so there's no capacity limits. If you get a reminder email from us, that means your reservation is solid, because those reminder emails are sent to anybody booked. So you're good to go. You're ready to rock and roll. We'll see you Friday. Do you ever catch mahi-mahi? Yes, we definitely see mahi-mahi. This is the time of year where we start seeing them. We've been catching a few of them on our 5 and 10-hour private fishing charters aboard the Hub and the Flying Hub 2. We've been seeing them on our 10-hour all days on the party boat. We've been seeing them on our 12-hour extremes, on our 39-hour trips. We're definitely starting to see those mahi-mahi. Next question, do those Bull Bay rods ship? No, we only have those available for in-store purchase only. You can purchase them on our online store, You can purchase them online, but they're only available for in-store pickup. We don't ship rods and reels. We've done it before. It never ends well for us. So we don't ship rods, but you can come and pick them up next time you're going fishing with us. What is the grouper season and limit this year? The grouper season is the same as last year and the year before, and the limits are the same. Gag grouper are open June 1st. They are open till the end of the year. Red grouper, scamp grouper, yellow edge, strawberry, all the other grouper are open all year round. You're allowed 4 grouper per day per person, two red grouper or 2 gag grouper, or the aggregate of 4 of a mixed bag. So grouper are definitely open, and fishing is good for them, especially in deeper water. Fish Rules app is the best app to get, and you can go right on our website, hubbardsmarina.com, click fishing trips, and then scroll down to fishing rules and regulations, and right on our website is a link to download that Fish Rules app. Fish Rules app has a contract with Florida's FWC and with the Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council. So that Fish Rules app is always up to date with the latest state and federal regulations. So you can go right on their app, search for what fish you're looking for, and it's going to bring up the most up-to-date regulations. So highly recommend you download the Fish Rules app if you're interested on fishing rules and regulations and seasons and stuff like that. We are going on a fishing trip soon. Which trip do you recommend? Well, it really depends on your level of experience and expertise and what you want to do on the water. If you only have a little bit of time, the 5-hour trip is great fun. If you have a little bit more time, but you don't want to go way out there, you're not so experienced, the 10-hour trip is a great intermediate angler's trip. And even if you're an experienced angler, it's a lot of fun on a 10-hour trip to catch some snapper, maybe a grouper. On a 12-hour extreme trip, you get a chance to fish like you do on a 39-hour trip in a short window of time. You're home by dinner. 12-hour night mangrove snapper gives you a taste of that nighttime fishing like we get on a 39-hour trip, but you're home by breakfast the next morning. The 39-hour trip is truly that gold standard. Gives you ton of fishing trips, super far, or ton of fishing time, super far from shore. It's probably my favorite trip. That 2-day bag limit allows you to bring home a lot of fish if you know what you're doing. 44-hour trip is a lot like that 39-hour trip, but it only happens on a full moon, and you get more nighttime fishing time for even more snapper fishing. So 39 and 44-hour trips, 12-hour extreme trips are probably my favorite. That long-range, deep water, blue water fishing is my favorite for sure. But a private fishing charter is the best way to go. You get the opportunity to go out there with us and get one-on-one experience. You get a private boat. You don't have anybody else on board except for you and your group. So a private fishing charter is awesome as well. But a 39-hour, it's hard to beat that 39-hour trip. When making bonita strips for red snapper, do you trim the meat off like you would if you were trolling it? No. You want to leave the meat on there. The meat's going to be oily, it's going to be smelly, it's going to attract those smaller fish, which are in turn attracting that red snapper. You definitely want to leave the skin on it too. The skin is what makes that bait stay on the hook. So what I do to strip a bonita out is I flip it over and I fillet it just like I was filleting it to eat. And then once you get that fillet off that fish, you turn that fillet skin side down and then strip it. By stripping it, you're cutting it from that fat side where the head used to be all the way to the skinny side where the tail used to be. And a lot of times you're not going to cut all the way through the skin, so you're going to try to pull a strip off and it's not going to pull off. Do not tear it. Do not tear it. Once you've stripped it as hard as you can, cutting on a cutting board, then flip it over, you're going to be able to easily feel with your knife where you already cut the meat, and then just gently cut through that skin. You don't want to tear the meat off the skin. It's real important. You want to leave the meat as intact as possible right on the skin. That way you can take that hook, put it through the skinny side of that strip, all the way through the skin. Just one time, just right through, start on the meat side, go out the skin side, and drop it down to bottom and hold on tight because hopefully you're going to get slammed. Would you recommend fishing a large butterfly bait such as fresh goggle eyes on the 39-hour trip? Goggle eyes aren't really popular in our area, but people catch fish on them. I've seen them work. Um, Definitely butterfly baits work well. One of my favorite butterfly baits is a big squirrel fish, or even one of those white grunts or gray snapper are really good butterfly baits. Porgies work really well. You can only use certain porgies. If it's a bait that has or if it's a fish that has a size limit or bag limit, it's illegal to use reef fish for bait. So you have to be careful at what you're butterflying, but definitely butterfly baits work well. If it was up to me, I'd use a live bait. If I'm going to use a big bait like that, I prefer it to be alive. But if you got a big, awesome live bait that dies on you, don't just toss it out or toss it on your stringer. You can use that big, fresh live bait as butterfly bait too. So that is a good option. Do you have any 5-hour openings Tuesday of this week for 3 people? I don't know off the top of my head, but I can pull that up for you. Just like on that fishing trips information page that I showed you, you guys can pull it up. Looks like we do have some room left on Tuesday. We got about 20 spots left open Tuesday morning. You can book that right on our website now, hubbardsmarina.com. Click Fishing Trips and click Fishing Trip Reservations to book your trip now. On the double snell rig video, why do you use 2 hooks? Well, a double snell rig is just that. It's a double snell rig. So a snell rig is just a term for a knot. So a double snell rig means you're using 2 hooks. The idea behind a double snell rig is you're allowing two hooks into one dead piece of bait. So whenever using a dead piece of bait, I like that double snell rig, because whenever that snapper bites, he's getting a piece of or he's getting a hook in his mouth. So wherever he bites that piece of bait, the chance of him getting a hook in his mouth and you hooking up to that fish is exponentially increased. So a double snell rig is primo when fishing dead bait. When fishing live bait, I typically almost always use a single hook rig. So single hook rig best for live bait, dead bait. Double hook rig is always better, unless I'm using a really big piece of dead bait and I'm expecting that fish to come up and swallow it. So grouper fishing, amberjack fishing, red snapper fishing, you can get away with a single hook. But any type of quick biting fish like mangrove snapper, yellowtail snapper, those double snell rigs are king for sure. Let's see here. What other questions? If I buy a reel at the store, can you spool it with line? Yes, if you buy a fishing reel from us at Hubbard's Marina, we will spool it up for you with line. So if you come down for a trip, you buy a reel in our office, we'll spool it up for you. We do have limited selections of fishing line, and we do not have one of those line spoolers like they do at Dogfish Tackle or Betts Tackle or Tampa Fishing Outfitters or St. Pete Fishing Outfitters or my favorite Bass Pro Shops. So we can't put what specific kind of braid you want with this specific type of mono, but if you buy a reel from us, we'll throw some line on it for free for you, but you just can't be picky about what line we put on it. But we have a general rule, or we have a general selection, and our mates will put that line on you for free on the ride out during your trip. But they're gonna hand do it the old school way. So nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. How many people tend to go out at a time on the 5-hour trips? I want to bring my whole family, since none of us have done this type of fishing before. So you can do a 5-hour private fishing charter where it's just you and your family on a private boat. But if you do the 5-hour public trip, we take up to 65 people normally. But this time of year, or right now, because of the COVID situation, we're only taking up to 50. Phase 2 allowed us to move up to 50 people. So right now, just 50 instead of 65. But you can do a private charter and you can bring anybody you want. It's just you and your group on the boat. Alan Jones, thanks for the stars. And your question says, you mentioned threadfin plugs. A threadfin plug is just taking a dead frozen threadfin. We cut the head off it, we cut the tail off it, we trim the belly, and we put that on a double snell rig. So a plug is just simply a chunk of meat after we cut the head and tail and trim the belly on that threadfin. I showed that video last week, so I'm not going to show it again this week. But it is right on our website. If you're interested in learning more about that threadfin plug, go to fishing trips on our website, scroll down to fishing tips and tricks. The fishing tips and tricks page of our website has a ton of videos, including that double snell rig video, how to rig a double snell rig, how to brine your bait, how to tie a nail knot, my favorite fishing knot if I'm not double snelling, mangrove snapper tips, and much, much more. So definitely check out those videos after the live stream show. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? Are you, Dylan, coming out on the July 3rd trip? So during red snapper season, unfortunately, I don't get to do a lot of fishing. I did a bunch of 39-hour trips at the beginning of the year. I was able to do another one before spring, before COVID shut us down. After COVID came, I'm not letting my brother go fishing, or I don't have a brother. I'm not letting my cousins go fishing on the boat right now. We're totally limiting capacity for our paying guests, so I wouldn't go out on the trip to take a spot away from a paying guest. Where our family's trying to recover from being closed for 40 days and now running limited capacities, then a hurricane the first week of red snapper season. We're definitely down on the ground and just keep getting beaten. So I'm not fishing right now, trying to save as much room as I can for you guys to go out fishing. But I can tell you, after red snapper season, hopefully we're going to climb out of this COVID hole. I'm going to be fishing hard, and I look forward to that for sure. Next question, are many people wearing masks on the boat? Some people are wearing face coverings, some aren't. We highly recommend it. If you're worried about the virus, if you're in one of those vulnerable classes, it's still recommended that you stay home for sure, because people are definitely more and more every day less likely to wear a mask. I notice it every day at the marina. People are less likely to want to socially distance. Now you don't have to socially distance when you're outside, and masks are becoming less and less common. So we encourage masks. We encourage social distancing, but to be completely brutally honest, it's not that common anymore. So if you're worried about it, if you're in one of those vulnerable classes, if you have underlying conditions, if you're over the age of 65, the governor still recommends you stay home. So right now we're trying to recover. So we've increased our capacity back to 50, and we're following the governor's guidelines. That's all I can say about that. What's the biggest bottom species caught on a half-day trip? Pelagics and Goliaths not included. On a 5-hour half-day trip, it's our shortest trip closest to shore. We catch fish that range in size from about here. They range in size to about here. The 5-hour half-day is the shortest trip closest to shore. We're only fishing 9 to 12 miles from shore in about 30 to 50 foot of water. We target what we call gray snapper. They're also known as a white grunt, Key West grunt, lots of different names for those gray snapper. We also catch porgies, black sea bass. You have a chance for a hogfish, but that 5-hour half-day trip is definitely smaller fish. It's our shortest trip closest to shore, meant for beginning anglers, first-time anglers, and families with young children, and advanced anglers who just want to get out and enjoy some time on the water. Half-day trip's not going to get you anything big, but it's a lot of good eating smaller fish for sure. And I think we only have time for one question. So one more question, I should say. How long after bad weather does it take for the water to clean up and fish to start feeding again? How how long does it take to get back to normal? So it kind of depends on the weather, and it depends on the depth. The further offshore, those fish bounce back right away because it's not as shallow. It doesn't get stirred up as much. Closer to shore, where water is shallower, it takes longer because that water not only has to water not only has to calm down, but it also has to clear up. So real important to kind of gauge the depth of the water and also the strength of the storm that just passed. In this case, with Tropical Storm Cristobal, offshore, 39-hour areas should be ready to rock and roll Tuesday, Wednesday, as soon as that water calms down. Inshore, near shore and 5 and 10 hour trip territory, probably start getting good again Tuesday. It's going to really start getting back to normal Wednesday. Thursday through the weekend should be hot. So it depends on the depth of water, to answer your question. So we talked about weather, we talked about our new online store, we talked about the new virus policy and procedures. Make sure you check out the new virus policy and procedures. It's in that gray or green banner at the top of our website. They do change based on governor announcements, federal announcements, state and county announcements. The virus policy and procedure list has been changing almost every week. So make sure you stay tuned to it. Check it before you come out and see us so you know what's going on and you stay tuned. Red Snapper season started June 1st. It's open through the end of August 1st. Come out and see us for a Red Snapper. You can only catch those Red Snapper on a 12-hour extreme, 39-hour, or 44-hour, or a long-range private charter on the Flying Hub 2. That's it. We're not sold out in June. We got plenty of room on our 39-hour trips in June. We got plenty of room on our 12-hour extreme trips, 39 hours in July. So tons of room in June and July to go get some red snapper with our increased capacity. So definitely a good opportunity to come out and see us. And I think I covered just about everything. I did want to mention real quick, if you are coming out on a 39-hour fishing trip or 44-hour fishing trip, make sure you know how to vent a fish. If you're going out fishing with your buddy on your own boat, on another charter boat, make sure you're using a venting tool or descending device. You gotta know how to take care of these fish. On our website, at hubbardsmarina.com. If you go to fishing trips, you can scroll down to Hubbard's Marina fishing reports. We do a fishing report every Friday. It's posted right here to our website page. Again, under fishing trips, scroll down to fishing reports. Every Friday we upload the latest fishing report, and this past Friday we covered in depth in the offshore fishing section a lot of information on descending and venting and why you need to do it, when you need to do it, all that information. So highly recommend you read that. Do not go offshore. Do not go offshore in the summertime and fish past 70, 80, 90 foot of water without knowing how to properly vent a fish, which takes a lot of effort and skill. If you don't have the effort and skill for venting, do not go offshore without a descending device. Use a descending device, use a venting tool. Do not let fish go floating away from your boat. That is bull. I'm not going to cuss. I really want to right now. Nothing pisses me off more than cruising by a boat offshore and seeing dead floating fish behind it. Inshore, you hold a snook wrong and take a photo of it, you're going to get crucified. Yet, those same snook fisherman that's sending death threats for someone holding the snook wrong goes offshore and tosses fish back without venting or descending them and lets them go floating away dead. That shit is not cool. Do not let a fish float away from your boat. If he's floating away, he's not swimming back down. He's not going to recover. That fish is dead, and you wasted it. You wasted it. So if it's not going in your fish box, if it's going back in the water because you're out of season, they're undersized, or you're over your limit, vent it or use a descending device. If you don't know how to vent, use a descending device. If you're not an experienced angler, don't recommend to vent fish. Use a descending device. Super easy. If you're an experienced angler or if you want to learn, come out and join us. We'll show you how to vent a fish. But do not go offshore and start throwing fish back and let them float away from your boat. That is not cool. You're wasting fish. You're pathetic. So don't be pathetic, and don't post photos of holding up fish with dead fish floating behind you, because yours truly is going to come after you. We all got to work together. We all got to share that information. We all got to help each other learn and educate people. And so I expect everybody watching this video through this red snapper season, if you see someone post a photo on social media holding up a big red snapper and you can see dead floating red snapper behind them, you tag me. You tag me, because I'm coming after them. And you should too, because that's crap. You shouldn't hold a snook without supporting its belly. You shouldn't hold a trout out of the water too long. You got to take care of your bass. And when you go offshore, vent your freaking fish, and make sure that you take care of these fish. If it's out of season, if it's undersized, vent it quickly, get it back in the water quickly, or use a descending device. The longer that fish is out of the water, the more of an exponential chance that it's going to go floating away and die. Get it up fast, unhook it fast, and put it back in the water fast. Use a venting tool if you know how to do it. If you don't, use a descending device. It's even easier. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, educate yourself. Educate yourself. The best way to do it is just Google fishing for our future Gulf Council. It's right there, and it's also on the website page I just showed you on the Hubbard's Marina website. If you look at our latest offshore fishing report, it's right there as well. So fishing for our future, the Gulf Council page, you can scroll down to what state you're in. You can click on your state, and there's a video on how to vent a fish, how to treat barotrauma, how to use a descending device, how to use different types of descending devices, and there's our website page from Salt Strong and all the great videos on how to vent a fish. But again, if you're not super experienced, you're not comfortable venting a fish, use a descending device. But there is absolutely no freaking excuse to let a fish go floating away from the boat. And if you go out fishing with us, on a 39-hour trip and you let a fish go floating away from the boat, you got one shot. We'll come over, we'll teach you how to do it, but don't let it happen again, because it's bull. It's not okay. All right, so we all have to work together. We all have to lower discard mortality. There's no reason for fish to go floating away from the boat dead. All right, so enough of the soapbox. We talked about all I wanted to cover tonight. Didn't get to as many questions as I would like, but there's always next week. Every Sunday night, same place, same bad channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Apologize for preaching a little bit there at the end. I think we had at one point about 530 live viewers, so tonight was a great show. Thanks, Gabe, for 500 stars. Super appreciate it. I guess someone liked my preaching at the end. Thanks, buddy. Let's see here. Let's see who won a 39-hour fishing trip for one person. Let's see, 39-hour fishing trip for one person. Let's see who won. 39-hour fishing trip for one person. Keith Blackstock. Good evening. Well, Keith, you won. Keith Blackstock. Make sure anybody who was picked as one of those lucky winners, you got to text us at that number very quickly to claim your free trip. Text us your home address in order to claim your free trip. And remember, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too busy, don't forget to tune in again next week, Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. Every Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. right here on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook and YouTube channel. We'll see you again next week. Thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with us here at Hubbard's Marina. Remember, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy, come out and see us inside John's Pass at Hubbard's Marina. Shoot us a text at our phone number right here. We can chat. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat. And don't forget to tell your friends. We'll see you next week for another episode. Appreciate y'all hanging out.